Well, good Sunday evening, Arkansas. This is Chief Forecaster Cameron back here once again. I'm here to give you guys a quick evening forecast preview for your week ahead coming up here. So, not a bad Sunday, Arkansas. We've had temperatures in the upper 70s across northern Arkansas with the front boundary coming in, as you can see on your screen, and temperatures near 90 degrees here. So we're trying to get rid of the 90s as much as possible, guys. I do not think we'll close that book anytime soon. With temperatures are going to be above normal. We're going to talk about that here in just a little bit. But right now we've cooled off. You know, the sun is beginning to set, stuff like that. It's going to set the stage for a very cool night across the natural side here, especially with this frontal boundary coming in. So right now, Jasper's already fallen to 70 degrees at 7 o'clock. That's beautiful. 73 in Mount Holmes, 77 in Jonesboro, clinging to 86 degrees in Little Rock. You were just at 90 degrees the last hour, so temperatures are starting to fall off. El Dorado is at 79, Camden's at 81, Texarkana's at 84. 79 in the Monticello area, 84 in Fort Smith, 75 up there in Fayetteville at this current time here. So, as I mentioned before, the cold front's going to move through the state as we get towards this evening and into the night. That's going to set the stage for a very beautiful and cool Sunday night across the board. And for first thing tomorrow morning, especially for my folks up there in northern Arkansas, make sure the kiddos have that light hoodie with them. They're likely not going to need it by the afternoon. But the first thing in the morning, you're going to have temperatures in the 50s, and there could be some higher elevations that may sneak into that 48, 49 degree range before rapidly warming up as the sun is beginning to rise first thing tomorrow morning here. Now, let's talk about something interesting here, okay? And I know a lot of people like the quiet weather, but boy, we need the rainfall here. And we've got some coming your way as we get towards late week and into the weekend here. So let's talk about your evening highlights here. So as I mentioned before, very cool night across the state here. Temperatures will likely be in the 50s statewide. Some higher elevations, northern Arkansas could see some upper 40s. The active weather looks to return as we get towards late week and into the weekend. I'll break that down for you just in a second. And the other thing here, the one thing we've been constantly talking about, and I'm pretty sure you guys are tired of hearing us talking about it, the wildfire danger here. I know it's been cool and stuff. Some places have seen a good amount of rainfall and everything like that, but some areas are still experiencing a lot of dry weather. And that is leading to that wildfire danger here. So keep that in mind. That wildfire danger is still going to continue until significant rainfall is seen across the area here. So let's talk about our burn bans. We've had a couple more counties kind of drop off the bat with the burn bans. This is great news. We still have Central Arkansas, Pulaski County, Perry County, Yellow County, Logan, over to White County, much of southeastern Arkansas and far southwestern Arkansas still in those burn bans here, guys. So what those burn bans mean, no burning of any kind. There are violations that can include fines and possible imprisonment. We don't want none of that, guys. We don't want none of that business. So make sure you're heeding those burn bans and stuff like that. I know the urge is there, but we've got to talk about the reason why, because they can easily, one little spark can easily start a fire that you can't control. So let's talk about the wildfire dangers. Now this graphic is different than the burn ban. The burn ban is like you can't, like law enforcement, you cannot burn. But if you're in a wildfire risk, take this as like you have a severe order threat. Like you may not see a wildfire, but the risk is there for that potential because you still have some dry ground and stuff like that, and all it takes is one spark in one unfortunate area, and then boom. So still that moderate wildfire danger across central and southern Arkansas, and then that one little portion in west central Arkansas and south, I would call that central and west central Arkansas, still in that high wildfire danger here. So just keep that in mind, like I mentioned before. This graphic is probably going to change probably about first thing tomorrow morning because of the fact that some areas, especially in southern Arkansas, have seen a good amount of rain. So that will probably be dropping off a few counties by the time we get towards first thing tomorrow morning here. Now, let's talk about ahead. I know you guys are probably tired of hearing wildfire and drought. So let's talk about ahead. First and foremost, temperatures. I know you guys like the cooler weather, but we do have above normal temperatures coming our way. I want to stress this right now. This does not mean that we're going to have 100 plus by the time we get towards this time frame here. Okay, this is temperatures in the upper 80s, low 90s. Fortunately for us, we're getting later and later into the year, so our averages are going to continue to drop as we get later into the year. So these temperatures will probably end up being in the mid to upper 80s across the board, maybe some low 90s, especially across southern Arkansas here. But let's talk about this. I just realized that header, so you just have to ignore the header. I meant to switch that to temperature. That's not precipitation, that's temperature. This is precipitation here. So across the board, above normal precipitation across the area here, okay? Above normal means that we'll have several chances of storms. We'll finally start to get some beneficial rain across the state. Some of this, especially around that September 23rd to the 27th time frame, could lead to some severe weather. I'm going to talk about that coming up here in just a little bit, but just keep that in mind here. So some good news coming our way as we get towards the later part of the week and into next weekend here. So let's talk about tonight. So I mentioned before, temperatures across the state in the 50s. There could be a 60 here and there, especially near the Fort Smith area and down in the Texarkana and over to Monticello. But far northern Arkansas, temperatures are going to be in the low 50s. I can't rule out, especially in higher elevation, a 48 or 49 degree reading by the time you get towards first thing tomorrow morning here. So let's briefly talk to you guys about what to expect coming up. I'm going to switch this over to the European model here. So bear me for just 1 second here. I got to get this switched over. That's going to be this. And give me just 1 second here. We'll switch this over to Euro. So there we go. So there's the European model, and this is kind of taking a look at the Friday to Saturday period time frame. Take a look out to the west over here towards the Four Corners. You've got a decent system starting to get itself together. This is what's going to bring that rain chances as we get towards that Friday night and into that Saturday time frame here. So let's take this out. This is Sunday. Well, it's not Sunday. Saturday evening here. Closed area of low pressure centered over Kansas. You can see kind of more like almost like a negatively tilted system here. So this is the European model, so you would have to watch for the threat of severe weather, especially from Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, and potentially far western Arkansas here. So you can see by the time we get towards, this is around 7 p.m. on Saturday here, you've got a line of storms basically from western Missouri to eastern Kansas, all the way down to eastern Oklahoma and into eastern Texas. Some of these could be severe. We'll have to wait and see what the European model and its verification ends up doing. But let's take this out. This is late Saturday night, first thing Sunday morning here during the overnight hours. You've got some storms moving across the state here. So keep that in mind, something that we're going to monitor very, very closely here as we get towards this time frame here. So this is just the European model. I want to stress that right now. This is the one that's kind of showing that potential of some isolated severe weather as we get towards the weekend here. Now let's take this out to the GFS here at that exact same time frame, and we're going to go over to the precipitation here, and you can see GFS almost the same thing. There's a line of storms here. We'll have to watch western and northwestern Arkansas as we get towards Saturday night, first thing Sunday morning here. The difference with the GFS and the Euro has a system in Kansas, so you would have a best shot of seeing severe weather here in Arkansas because you'll have a better access to the wind fields, especially aloft. You go GFS, your system is across the Midwest, so you would have to watch for probably more of a damaging wind threat versus any kind of tornado threat or anything like that. But your system will be further to the north and west here, so your severe weather threat here in Arkansas would be a little lower. We'll have to watch to see if we can get one of these lows to kind of spin up and help with the wind energy. But typically your main system being that far away from Arkansas, your dynamics go with it here. So you would still see some severe weather, but we'll have to wait and see here. So obviously we'll have more about that coming up this week. If anything starts to pop up, we start getting risk areas, stuff like that, I'll have a blog for you guys on Facebook and on YouTube here, okay? So that's all I got for you guys this evening here. As mentioned before, we're going to continue to monitor the situation. Stay with us this week. We're going to monitor this system coming up this weekend, and we'll keep you guys updated right here, your source for all things Arkansas weather.